Alright guys, I've been working hard here cleaning the Hendey tool and gauge maker parts, and I got the apron taken apart. I got it set here on the SIP jig board table, and like I said, I've been cleaning like crazy with the parts washer. Kind of show you all the insides are clean. I mean, the insides and the outsides are clean, but I got to sand the outside and give it some paint. All that on the inside there, where the feed rod goes through, there's some bushings that rotate. There's one in the bottom that didn't want to come out, so I didn't disturb it. Me trying to give it. There you go. Kind of a shot in there. Those spin and they're keyed for no reason other than just so they spin in their bores and not spin on the shaft. So that's kind of neat. And there's two more that I dug out. Interesting. See, these are actual grease fittings. Hendey calls for grease, and you can see the copper lines halfway painted flaking off that lubricate those two holes, which is where the clutches go for the cross feed and the power feed on the bed. So that's kind of neat. I'm gonna make sure I get those flushed out really well. I might just get like instead of a grease gun, or convert a grease gun to oil, or make it a dedicated oil gun. But you can see I've been just cleaning the heck out of this guy, right? So that's that, and then the cover for the apron is here, and you can see, man, I've been cleaning like mad crazy. The white paint is original, and you can see with the S-cam is for the half nuts, and there's that little blocker rod for the bed feed. So if the half nuts are engaged, you know, the bed feed doesn't grab it and see how that works. If you engage the half nuts, that little tripper dog stops you from putting on the bed feed. So that's cool. That's all nice and spiffy clean. Say the other side, it's missing the grease fitting. As you can see, the hole right in the center, I can get a grease fitting for there. Just cleaning the crud out of the crannies. That red oxide's original finish. So that's kind of what that is. Many hours with lacquer thinner and parts cleaner. So I got the two clutches for the bed feed and the cross feed in there. I'm going to clean them up, and that's the gear for that's one of the, I forget, I think that's the, I'm not sure what feed that's for because there's a couple gears. And then those are the little standoffs that protect the handles here. They go around there, little whatever. The half nuts are actually Babbitt cast into these steel sliders, so that's cool. And this is what I'm talking about. Those bushings are keyed, and they have washers keyed to them too with dowel pins. You can kind of see what that is. And the gears go in between. The gears for the worms go in between those. So that's kind of neat. And then of course there's another gear, and that's the pinion, I think, for the main hand wheel for the bed feed. So I've been cleaning stuff. I got to clean more stuff. The oil pump for the international truck still sitting on the Harding. I got to get that engine back together. Let me kind of walk around the Harding. All the parts are laid out. Trying to be a better cameraman. So this thing is the top slide, the compound slide. set that there. So this guy was seized up from sitting, and I never actually took this apart. I think I unseized it from its sitting outside for 4 years episode. So I just soaked that with that Croyle. Let's advertise for Croyle, because that stuff, I mean, that stuff is great. I mean, that thing is, I mean, if it's stuck hard, nothing will take it apart, get it loose, other than heat and mechanical whatever, but this sure helps. This is not going to unseize things by itself, but once you get them moving, it really starts the magic. So anyways, another gear goes on there for the handle. It kind of transposes the handle up just a scotch. So that's the deal with that. But this thing was all, so there's a collar with a set screw. But I just put the penetrating oil in there, and because this moves, so there's a gap in there. It might be a thousandth or a half a thousandth. You know, you snug that up, but there's a gap in there. So I just kept hitting on that with a lead hammer, and just bouncing it, just bounce. I held this in my hand, so it's not on a bench. It's physically suspended in my hand, and the hammer's in my other hand, going bounce, 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 bounce. And I did that about 100 times. And I got some movement out of it. With the, I think I very lightly put channel locks on here. And that got it rolling. So that's good. Talk too much about that. I got all the old 6-digit mic out. So the tailstock, I don't think it's in too bad shape. The ram, let me turn this on. I don't know if it helps. The ram, that's the front. I mean, I can't even see. It's got a little, yeah. It's got a score on it next to the numerals. And that doesn't really bother me, but it's hard to see. But the bore is not great, not horrible. But anyways, I said all that. So this is 1.5 inches. I got these turned, ground, and polished rods, bars, whatever you want to call them. They're also 1.5 inches. This is 2 thou under 1.5 inches. This is 1 thou under 1.5 inches. You know, 1.499. This is 1.498. There's some tenths in there, but for the round discussion purposes, I'm going to say this is, so this bar, these bars are the same within tenths, within half a tenth. It'll start in here. Now I gotta clean inside the bore of this thing with a brake cylinder hone, just a quick lubricated pass in and out from the front and in and out from the back, because this has got light surface rust. But I was able to start the new bar, you know, 1/4, 3/8 the way in. So my idea is this: let me get this thing clean where I got bore mics too I can stick in there, and let me see how this turn, ground, and polish is going to fit. Okay, I might be able to forego that old one and make a new one. And if it gets halfway in and stops because it's getting tight and I have to hone out the back, you know, the purist would say you need to use a Sonnen parallel hone in here, and yes, it would be nice to parallel hone this. I don't have one. I don't really have access to one. My friends up in New York have. My friend Mark has a Sonnen hone. But we'll see. I might use a 3-finger brake cylinder hone and just fit this to the new piece of turn, ground, and polished. Now my buddy Mark he made a tailstock for something, I forget what. And instead of drilling and boring or grinding, he does have the capability to grind. Or maybe at the time he didn't. He says he bought a Morse taper socket, be it a Collis or whatever brand, and he just bored this out to accept the Collis socket, the Morse taper socket. I think he was doing Morse taper 3, I don't know. So that's an option, is to either, probably I'll attempt to do a Morse taper. This is Morse taper 2, I believe. Morse taper 2 in there. No, maybe it is 3. Oh, I think it's 2. I don't know. Doesn't matter. But whatever that is, I'll either try to bore it in there, or if not, I can sleeve it in by using a purchased. I mean, I got sockets. I got Doozer's Tool Adventures. Is this it? Yes. See, this is what I mean. Oop. Well, that's a 1. This is probably a 2. What does that say? Doesn't say anything. I think that's a 2, right? So is that's probably a 2. Yeah. So this, you know, you'd trim this down or grind it down or something and fit it in there. So I do have a socket. I don't think you could get a 3 in there. But, you know, I have all this stuff for a reason. And what's that? I don't know if that's it. I got different ones for different things, and it's the same one. Is this a 5? This is a 5 to 3, I think. I don't know. But, you know, something like that, right? I got other ones and whatever. So, very carefully close that. So that's an idea for there. Oh, so this is the butt end, right? So there's the lead screw, or the feed screw, I guess you'd call it, for the tailstock ram. And the Acme nut, of course, is in the back, right? Blah, 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 blah. So what this does, this is the butt cap. That screws in there. So then your hand wheel cranky crank goes on there. So what I want to do is, if I make a new one, I want to make it longer. So this is, let's call it a foot, maybe it's 13 inches. Instead of a foot, I don't think I'd go 2 feet, but maybe I'll go 18 inches. So basically what I would do, well, here, let's see, let me show you, like, and yeah, it's dirty, but I'm not gonna, let me sit down in my chair here. All right. So if I make the ram longer, it would stick out the back. Assume it sticks out the back approximately like this, maybe not quite as much. I can no longer screw this in because it's just too thin. There's a few things I can do. The first thing, I just need a tube on here. It doesn't need to be bearing on the surface. The surface is going to come from the tailstock. Now with this one, this is the back. If this is 12 inches and the tailstock is 12 inches, and I don't know what it is, it's about that. If you stick it out the front 6 inches, then you only got 6 inches left in here, which is fine, and that's how they design lathes all the time. But if I have it, instead of 12 inches long, if I make it like another 6 inches, 18 inches long, then if I have it extended 6 inches, instead of having only 6 inches in the tailstock itself, I'll have a foot. So it'll be more rigid. And of course, if you extend that out 6 inches, or if you extend it out a foot, if you extend your tailstock out a foot, then you got 6 inches left in here. So I don't need a bearing surface here, just a pipe for clearance. So I can, you know, put my my cap, my butt cap on the back. And you know, this could be, doesn't have to be threaded. What I could do is check this out. If you remember the nut fix I did on the Colchester lathe, I could do something similar here. So I could tap 6 or 8 holes in this surface. Put this in the middle, tram it up, and put some, you know, 1032, 1024, quarter inch, you know, quarter 20 holes maybe. I think quarter 20 would fit. And make a flange on here. So if I put a flange on here, make it bigger, then I could cut threads on the outside of the, well, you could cut threads here, but that's a pain in the butt to fixture, swing this whole thing in the lathe to cut threads on the outside. I could do it, I'd have to put an angle plate on it, but if I put 6 or 8 attachment bolts to put a flange on here, and the flange was say 1/2 inch thick or 5/8 thick, and then I put threads on the outside of that flange, it could be bigger, you know, whatever, and then I could screw a tube on that flange, right, and make a bigger one of these and screw it into the tube. So, you know, I could do it. But I'm fortunate that I was able to pick these up somewhere in my travels that ended up just happened to be about 1/1000th bigger than this. And this has probably got wear on it, so I got to fit it to this. At least run a hole through this quick and see how it, you know, how much work fitting it's going to take. But yes, I can measure pretty accurately, and then I got telescoping gauges and I got different stuff. I can borrow a bore mic and just get a feel for it that way, so I can do that. But like I said, I got all the parts laid out, and I've been working hard cleaning and try to make a plan with this guy. So I'll bring you back when I got more to share.